Thanks for taking the time to return to my channel. Now, unfortunately, the colliery talked about in this video had many explosions, and it had many explosions that occurred at the vertical shaft. This occurred in Plymouth, Pennsylvania, Luzerne County, outside of Larksville, just across the river from Hanover and basically Wilkes-Barre. Now, before I read the article, this is basically what the article states happened. I don't know, how true it is. Put this over here, I'll explain. Methane, yet once again, was the culprit. And these lamps were meant to keep methane from getting in and causing an explosion. So, the colliery had a lamp house, and what the lamp house was it was a building on top of the colliery grounds that you would go before your shift and you would be handed a safety lamp. They would either light the lamp for you, or you had a striker here. You would pull this to the right a couple times. It would have a flint, cause a spark, and catch the flammable wick that had like a white gas in it, and light the wick, pretty much like a lighter. So the collieries did not want you to open said lamp underground because they didn't trust the coal miners. So what they did, like on this one here, they had a magnet. It was a double-sided magnet, and you had to get like a U-shaped type magnet to open it. As you can see, you can't open your lamp. And that was so the miners, in case you bumped this or it ran out of fuel, you wouldn't light it with a lighter or matches like I did in my prior video. It was like a locking mechanism. So, a lot of miners, regardless, would find a way in and light their lamp if they're flint. Now, the flints break all the time on these things, and it's a pain in the butt because you have to fix it. It's kind of a mechanical pain in the butt to get fixed. So they would just break it apart and get some matches or a lighter or whatever and light it. And according to this news article, that's exactly what happened, unfortunately. This was from the Altoona Mirror, January 12, 1910. And again, unfortunately, this was not the first or last such explosion in this very colliery. Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, January 12. 4 men and a boy were killed, and 6 other men badly burned by an explosion of gas in the new shaft of the Nottingham Colliery of the Lehigh and Wilkes-Barre Coal Company at Plymouth. The party of men, under charge of Foreman David Roberts, were doing some repair work in one of the lower veins of the colliery, which is a very gaseous mine. They were equipped with safety lamps, and it is presumed by the mining officials that the carelessness of someone in the party in exposing the flame of his lamp caused the gas to ignite, and the explosion followed. The shock of the explosion was felt on the surface. A rescuing party was quickly lowered into the mine. Officials of the company who hastened to the scene took charge of the work of rescuing the injured, getting out of the dead, and of fighting the fire. The deceased: Anthony Asapowski, 32, Michael Wyszynski, 38, Wasyl Wyszynski, 19, Joseph Litz, 46, Joseph Mercedes, 36, David Roberts, 21, Michael Sapkowski, 26. What's crazy about that is that shaft being on one of the lower levels was many hundreds of feet at a minimum, maybe approaching 800, 900, possibly 1,000 feet. Do you believe out near Nanticoke, I want to say possibly it was the Dundee, one of them was approaching the vertical shaft, that is 2,000 feet. Shortly after that distance, the earth actually begins to heat up. I think 3,000 feet, actually 2,000 some change is when the earth starts to heat up due to the mantle. So the fact that this explosion occurred at such a deep part of the Nottingham Colliery, and they felt that on the surface, I could not believe the force of that explosion. Again, people would have multiple head traumas, eardrums blown out, the shrapnel from whatever, the rock, just all the loose coal, the shale, the actual rock itself, all the metal down there, pieces of coal car, pieces of other people. It would just obliterate, you know, anyone in that immediate vicinity and then some. So the fact that they felt that on the surface is absolutely nuts. And there's nothing really left of the Nottingham except there's an auto repair shop there. Don't know the road. It's not too far from Shawnee Ave, I believe. And again, it's off of Route 11 in Plymouth, if you're interested. Believe the lamp house is there. I spoke with the owner a few years ago, and there's actually lamp parts from the electrified lamps, which is just like Edison headlamps from like the 30s, 40s, 20s. He actually showed me bits and pieces of them still in the lamp house. But one of the buildings burned, and he took this stone-etched marquee, and it said the Nottingham Colliery, and I believe it was like late 1800s, early 1900s. And he put it in one of the other colliery buildings, because again, that the building where this marquee or cornerstone was burned, and he took it and he put it and cemented it alongside the building. So if you ever want to drive around Plymouth, shortly off of Route 11, you can see part of the Nottingham Colliery. There's one colliery building left, and the shaft was right across the street from that building. And it's neat because it says Nottingham Colliery, like I said, and it almost looks brand new because of the quality of work that was done back then. But let these poor people rest in peace. God love them. And especially that a boy was killed. I guess he would be the 19-year-old Wasil Bushinsky, and David Roberts just being 21. And anyone getting killed, you know. The oldest was 47, which is obviously not that old. God bless them, and let us not forget them.